How to install a Dashcam battery pack in a Hyundai Ioniq 5. This is part 2 of our 2-part series. The first part, if you haven't seen it, link right here. This is actually where we removed the battery pack that was incorrectly installed in the Hyundai Ioniq 5. So let's go and see how to professionally install it in this vehicle.
And we're gonna give this customer a little bit of a surprise. So, because we only install our own battery packs, but he doesn't know this. But what we're doing, we're gonna put in a Thinkware Ivolt Xtra. As you can see, we already prepped it here on the bench. Looks like a mess right now, but it's the exact same rating. So we got a little bit more stuff to take apart. We're gonna have to take this panel off. That way we can run the wires safely underneath here to the back. And as you can see here, see how ours is all nicely tested taped. It's gonna look real nice and clean. Just want to make sure to take care of this customer. And you know, it only makes sense for him to have an Ivolt Xtra when he's got a U3000, because it'll actually tell you the battery percentage left, which is exactly what we did in his other vehicle. Okay, so we're going to route the wiring. So the battery pack's going to mount here. There's full clearance here. I've done them here before. And we're going to actually route the wiring underneath here, nice and safely. Make sure there's a little bit of slack. Velcro here, we're going to mount it, so make sure it's on high. So as you can see here, it's mounted nicely underneath the rear seat. And if I go here, back, see, no rubbing. And that's how it should be. You know, you shouldn't have these issues like how they mounted it up front underneath that front seat. You tend to find bugs and stuff as you go through the vehicle, I guess, eh? Yeah. Oh, gross. I don't know what that is, but it's kind of gross. And you can see tie strapped in place, nice and solid. We're going to put the paneling back on here. It's kind of a little bit of a MacGyvering, if you know what MacGyvering is. So now, so you can see there, this is it's all hidden underneath here. Pull it forward, you can see the wires there, but it's all nicely tested taped nicely. The track's not hitting it. It's not hitting the top of this at all. This is all nicely protected underneath the seat, right? And you have access to the controls easily right here. So for any reason you had to get access, you had to service it, full access to it right here on this vehicle, which is nice. It's not like you need to see the Thinkware thing. It's all hidden underneath the seat anyways. So we're going to continue our pattern of hiding the wiring underneath, and as you can see, it's all nicely tested taped. It looks beautiful. You know, we want to have it looking nice. You know, we don't want people to really even know there's a battery pack in here. We want it kind of hidden away. So all nicely hidden away. And now we got, this is our ignition hookup that we need to hook up, which is probably going to go around here. Okay, now we're going to ground it. So typically, as you can see here, this is all very solid metal here in the corner. You always want to make sure, like reaching behind, you make sure there's no wires or anything over there that you could possibly drill into. You always want to make sure to be aware of that. Last thing you want is to drill right through something. Obviously, this is how we do it. It's up to you if you want to use the bolt method. I don't recommend it. nice and solid, right? Lock washer and our self-tapping screw. And that's our ground. That's how we like doing it. Solder. Oh, which reminds me, we gotta... So now we're going to test ignition. I know that this wire typically is ignition on these vehicles. And as you can see, as soon as I turn the ignition on, it goes to 12 volts. So we can use that for a trigger for the Thinkware Ivolt Xtra battery pack. So you're probably confused, like, what's the ignition for? Well, all the other battery packs pretty much on the market, the majority of them, don't have an ignition trigger. So you have to actually hook up the big thick wire to an ignition, and most of these newer vehicles don't have thick ignition wires. So what it is it just uses a trigger. So it's not even drawing any current. It's actually just looking for ignition. And when it sees ignition on this wire, it says, hey, time to charge the battery pack. So it's only going to charge while you're driving. Now, the other style battery packs, you have to find a high current ignition, which is hard to find. Most newer vehicles don't even have high current ignitions anymore. So, I mean, obviously, like you've seen here at the beginning of the video, they hooked it up to a fuse tap on the fuse box, not knowing if it's even a high current output there, which to me is not smart. That's not how you should be doing it, right? So, I mean, if I had to have installed a PowerCell 8, which we don't install those at all because it's not something we offer here at Safe Drive Solutions, we would have had to use a relay, because we're going to use a relay to trigger through ignition and then hook it up to a high current 12 volt, because to me that is the safest way that we should be doing it. Now, it's total overkill even putting a fuse on the ignition wire, because it's only sensing and the OBD is fused, but still, safety first. And we'll clean up this wiring after we figure out the links that we're going to be running to the dash camera. So you can see the A pillar is completely exposed with the airbag. And now what we're going to do is actually put tie straps on it. Now some vehicles will have little like black loops here, and you can actually just run the wires through the loops, and no tie straps are needed to hold it in place. But tie straps are nice, just to keep everything a little bit more organized. I just want to make sure that that's completely pushed up there. I want to point out we were only hired to fix the battery pack. That's it. But I seen a few things that were questionable, and I felt that it was the right thing to do just for this particular customer who's bought a bunch of stuff from us before, and we just wanted to make sure that it was all, you know, rectified and done safely. Let's cut the tie straps here. And we're just going to place this back in. Just like that. It all works. It's all hooked up. And we're just going to finish putting the rest of this vehicle back together. Get it all nicely cleaned up.
Ivolt battery is about 5%.
Okay, so as you can see, we cleaned it all up, tie strapped in place. It's all nice and clean. And so we're gonna hook this back up. The battery pack is currently charging. That's why we have the vehicle running. We like to run the vehicle usually when we're trying to finish the vehicle off the last 20-30 minutes. We like to let it run so it's charging. That way, you know, if some sort of catastrophic failure happens, like battery pack's defective, which we've never had one that's defective yet, you know, we can catch that before we leave the installation site. So check it out, no wires, all the way over there to the Thinkware U3000. No more wires here because we removed all that. We don't have to worry about the seat hitting, any power seat motors getting broken or anything like that on the vehicle. Go back here. It's all nice and clean, no wires sticking out like you've seen before. Pull it forward, and there we go, battery pack professionally installed. This is a Hyundai Ioniq 5.